Ah, sun in my face. Hello, you who made the morning and spread it over the fields and into the faces of the tulips and the nodding morning glories, and into the windows of even the miserable and the crotchety. Best creature that ever was, dear star, that just happens to be where you are in the universe, to keep us from ever darkness, to ease us with warm touching, to hold us in the great hands of light. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Watch now how I start the day with happiness and kindness. Why I Wake Early by the poet Mary Oliver. Good morning. Say good morning, good morning. So, welcome on what has started off a little chilly, but hopefully brighten up and become a wonderful Easter Sunday. I'm grateful for everyone who's joined us here, for those who are watching, listening from online. And I hope that whatever you've come here seeking, however you are, be it if you need a place for a bit of pause and reflection, for tears, for laughter, for perhaps some words of wisdom, or a chance to connect with one another as well as the divine. Whatever you've come seeking, I hope it will be found, as well as a warm community. So, as I said, we began with those words of Mary Oliver, and we turn now to the Reverend Ian Riddle for the old story. We gather today in the presence of the old story of death defeated by emptiness, of hope and newness triumphant over fear and separation. We come, hearts heavy with pain and anxiety, spirits flattened by exhaustion and apathy, vision darkened by strife and violence. We come seeking connection and love in this place of community. May the old Easter story of hope and rebirth lighten our hearts and make us glad in the presence of each other's love. May our spirits be joyful as we worship together today. Amen. And please join with me in singing our first hymn, which is printed in your order of worship, Life's Rebirth by Frank Clapper. Let us gather into a time of prayer with these words of the Reverend Tess Baumberger. This is followed by our covenant, which is printed in your order of worship and will appear online for those watching from home. But first, a prayer. O God of many moments, of night gliding into day and day seeping into night, of infant milky sleeping breaths and wrinkled, crinkled, aging eyes, of the starting beauty of sunlight gazed upon a tree, and mournful moonlit vistas. Call us from days of doing into instances of being. Remind us of the certainty of love and the neighborhood of grace, which bind us to each other, each and every day. Amen. Please read with me our covenant. We gather here in sacred fellowship to witness the fullness of our lives and all life, to hold and be held, tell stories and listen, to be renewed and renew the world. We speak with care and patience. We act with gentleness and compassion. We forgive each other and ourselves. In faith that we build beloved community, we renew our covenant today. Our first reading today, simply entitled Easter, it's by the Reverend Andrew Hill. We look this Easter to rise above tombs of unreasonableness. From the tomb which confines God to supernatural orders, let God rise, respecting nature's universal laws. From the tomb of literalism and exclusivism and fanaticism, let rise imagination and inclusiveness and cooperation. From the tomb where we hear nothing but our own voices' echoes, let rise voices reasoning together. From the tomb which chains human minds, let rise minds which test and quest without resting. From the tomb of never-ending sorrow and despair, let rise new beginnings and new hope. From the tomb of conflict and war, let rise listening, tolerant, and participatory government. From the tomb where afterlife claims all life's meaning, let rise new meanings for this life. Most reasonable God, warm our hearts, and may our heart's fires be led by reason. Amen. You have a chance to share your joys, your sorrows, your trials, and your triumphs. If you want to share these publicly, please come forward and light a candle. If you have a few words to say, please come to the microphone so those listening online and those using the loop system may be able to hear you. If you are online, please type into the chat box and we will read your message out. You are, of course, invited to light a candle in silence if you so wish. And as always, if you prefer to hold your life in your heart, know that your presence here is enough.
Holy Sandal, I'm waiting for a wonder of everlasting. Much like the darkness was college. That's the lofty oh, the thunder, holy party, amen.
Our next reading by the great sort of writer, sort of philosopher, activist Bell Hooks is from her book All About Love. It's a chapter entitled Spirituality, Divine Love. And although she's writing from an American perspective, I think that there is much that we can take across this side of the pond. Our national spiritual hunger springs from a keen awareness of the emotional lack in our lives. It is a response to lovelessness. Going to church or temple has not satisfied this hunger, surfacing from deep within our souls. Organized religion has failed to satisfy spiritual hunger because it has accommodated secular demands, interpreting spiritual life in a way that upholds the values of a production-centered commodity culture. This is as true of the traditional Christian church as it is of New Age spirituality. It is no accident that so many famous New Age spiritual teachers link their teachings to a metaphysics of daily life that extols the virtues of wealth, privilege, and power. For example, consider New Age logic, which suggests that the poor have chosen to be poor, have chosen their suffering. Such thinking removes from all of us who are privileged the burden of accountability. Rather than calling us to embrace love and greater community, it actually requires an investment in the logic of alienation and estrangement. The basic interdependency of life is ignored so that separateness and individual gain can be deified. Religious fundamentalism is often represented as authentic spiritual practice and given a level of mass media exposure that countercultural religious thought and practice never receive. Usually, fundamentalists, be they Christian, Muslim, or any faith, shape and interpret religious thought to make it conform to and legitimize a conservative status quo. Fundamentalist thinkers use religion to justify supporting imperialism, militarism, sexism, racism, homophobia. They deny the unifying message of love that is at the heart of every major religious tradition. No wonder, then, that so many people who claim to believe in religious teachings do not allow their habits of being to reflect these beliefs. Imagine how different our lives would be if all the individuals who claim to be Christians or who claim to be religious were setting an example. by being loving. From All About Love by Bell Hooks. We turn now to a time of meditation using these words of Paul Marie. Over the still earth, the sun that is rising now is the sun that was rising before we were born and will be rising after we are dead. And we too, as it dawns, revive. For even as these mists and fears recede, shining now above the dark earth of the mind, above the void, 3 stars within us rise, 3 moving suns. Passion, wakefulness, joy. And can such living flame, such radiance, be born from dust to return to dust? So let us enter into a period of silence for reflection, meditation, contemplation, and personal prayer. We turn now to our next hymn in the Purple Book, number 2, Alicia Carpenter's A Promise Through the Ages Ring, hymn number 2.
As we exist, let hope stop, not just in chill, blood and sound.